Let's just talk about precisely where we are right now, what's happened so far. What's happened so far is that human beings have burned enough coal and oil and gas that we've raised the temperature of the Earth 1 degree. We've put enough carbon into the atmosphere and it's trapped enough heat that the planet's temperature, globally averaged, is 1 degree higher than it was before we started doing it. Warm air holds more water vapor than cold air does. That means that the atmosphere is 5% wetter on average than it was when I was born. That is a tremendously large change in a basic physical parameter of this Earth. And what it does is load the dice for both drought and flood. I do not need to tell you guys about drought. Nebraska, the drought monitor people said this week that Nebraska is leading the nation now, the most drought-ridden state. That a week ago, 99.69% of Nebraska was in severe drought. There was a little part of Richardson County that was only in moderate drought. But that ended this week. The whole state, 100%, is in severe drought. Okay, and of course, we saw the effects. July was the hottest month ever in the United States. Any month, any year. And even July wasn't quite as weird as March, when we had summer starting while it was still winter, when the temperature was running up in the 80s and 90s in places. It was crazy. So that's the drought part, but once that water is evaporated up in the atmosphere, it comes down, and we see that more and more and more in these huge downpours. We saw what it looked like on the eastern seaboard a few weeks ago when Hurricane Sandy came up that coast. That was no normal storm. It was the lowest barometric pressure ever recorded north of Cape Hatteras, all right? It was the largest storm we've ever measured. Its tropical storm force winds at their height were 1,040 miles across, okay? I mean, it sort of hit with a particular punch because even if people haven't been to New York, and many people have, but if you haven't, you've been to New York anyway because you've watched enough TV shows and movies and things to have a sense of how wrong it was to see the Atlantic suddenly filling the subway tunnels of the city, you know. All of that's because 1 degree is too much.